You know the 92.7 The Block Studios are lit.
92.7 The Block, ladies and gentlemen, as promised, a special guest on the show, somebody I feel as though is about to take over the airwaves, and definitely got those cosigns going crazy. Go ahead and tell them who I got with me.
What up, man? It's Gyamazawa, coming out of Durham.
Now, you know I set it up that you can tell me so you can help teach me to pronounce this name.
Right.
Say it one more time.
It's easy, man. It's very phonetic. It's Gyamazawa.
Gyamazawa.
Yep.
I said it right. Gyamazawa.
Yes, sir.
So, where does the name come from? Is that your original name?
Yeah, it's my last name.
Get the hell out of here. So, you're just rolling with the name. Like, you can't mess this up. If you do, I'm going to slap you.
Nah, that's all whatever, you know. People, you know, America's kind of like that, especially in the South. Like, you know, take a little extra time for you to wrap it around, you know, try to get it right. So, all it takes is about 4 seconds, man. If you sit there and look at it for about 4 seconds.
You be like, yeah, I got this down pat.
Right.
Now, what makes you feel as though you want to get into the music industry?
Man, I just love art. Man, I love, I do poetry full time as well, spoken word artist as well, but I've been MCing and rapping since I was 12, 13. I love the culture. I love just expressing myself, man. I feel like this is my unique way to add to the world. So it's just kind of, whether people listen to it or not, whether I make it or not, whatever, I feel blessed that I'm even here right now. So. And
that the art is speaking for itself, you know, something about when you have that God-given talent, the music is going to carry itself, It's a bonus the fact that you're a nice person, but the music has got to always carry itself. It's like Kevin Gates told me, good dope sells itself, good art sells itself. Yeah. So, what do you feel as though sticks out from you? Because I sense a lot of spoken word. I sense a lot of I imagine when I go to one of your shows, I can find someone painting to you freestyling or poetry. What could the people expect from a show of yours?
Man, just real, I like to engage and I like to really feel like a synchronized kind of spirit and energy with the people. And so I'm big on eye contact. I'm big on really it being a conversation and not just a one-sided kind of experience. So, just telling my story, man, everywhere I go. And I'm honored that people just even are willing to listen, man. I think it's difficult to get people to listen to what you got to say.
How do you manage, because I agree with you, being a new artist, getting people to listen, because I get hundreds of people coming up to me, listen to my mixtape, flood my DMs, listen to this song, this is the next big song. What do you feel as though has been a great avenue for you to get people to listen to your music? Well,
I think it's an exciting time for the artists in 2017, man. I mean, clearly the labels are just not as big of a factor. And, there'll always be powers that be, but, there's a direct artist to fan, artist to support, I don't even like saying fan, but artist to supporter sort of relationship, and that's just through social media, and that's just through people wanting to know more about your life. And so I think everything that's happened up to this point, before I linked up with whoever I linked up with, it was just all word of mouth, and it's all Facebook or whatever, and people like what they like. You could be huge, but if people not rocking with it, they're not gonna rock with it, they're gonna just go on to the next playlist. So I think for me, I'm just lucky that at this point in time, artists have a lot more control about how they putting it out, when they putting it out, who they putting it out to, and hopefully it just kind of spreads from there.
So what do you feel as though is your biggest holdup right now from becoming that next big star? What do you feel as though is holding you up right now?
I think just time, man. Time and timing.
I would have to agree with you on that. Just a matter of time. We look at people that have recently blown up from the Carolinas.
I mean, because I'm so arrogant, man. I thought I was supposed to be signed at 14. I think a lot of
artists. I don't think it's arrogant. Let me tell you something. No, I got to stop you right there because I'm the same way. When you're passionate and you feel as though your time is right then and there, that's not a matter of you being arrogant. That's a matter of you setting up goals. And a part of you feels as though, and correct me if I'm wrong, but a part of you feels as though because you didn't achieve it, you kind of failed, but you used that as motivation and perseverance. Am I right?
I agree.
You feel the same way?
I think all my wins are the fails that I made peace with. I think once you have a better relationship with those said failures, they become wins in the end. And I'm just trying to just keep winning, man.
So you say you're a poet. I shouldn't say you one. You are one. Right. Well, give me something like one of your favorite haikus. You didn't think I knew that, huh?
Oh, yeah?
You didn't think I knew that, huh?
All right, well, haiku is a Japanese short poem for the people who don't know out there.
Yeah.
It's a 17-syllable poem, 3 lines. It's 5 syllables, 7 syllables, 5 syllables. Got one for you. It might be off. Don't count.
Don't worry.
While my pen digs for poems, sometimes I find gems, sometimes I find bones.
Woo! Woo! I couldn't snap. I just put lotion on. Help me out. Man.
Yes, sir.
So you also brought me a gift. I feel as though the people have been listening to you long enough now that, we got to play it. So let's go ahead and debut it.
Let's do it.
Go ahead. It's on you.
It's, North Cac, Gyamazawa, featuring Joshua Gunn and Kane Smigo, produced by Arm & Hammer. Straight out of Durham, North Carolina, man. Repping for that barbecue sauce and the slaw, man.
We call that Bull City.
Blah.
Let's go. Now, you managed to team up with my boy, Jay Gunn. A lot of people don't know that I have very good ties with him, and he cannot beat me in a game of horse. Please let him know that. I don't know what it is. So, what was that like, teaming up with people from the Bull City and making that correlation happen?
I mean, it was huge for me, man. I'm to me, the art is the most important piece, right? And so I think regardless of whatever happens, the relationships I build and the work that I create is the biggest thing to me. So as a young boy, and I went to Jordan High School as well, as where Gunn went to. So growing up, all you hear about is Third Day and Joshua Gunn and rocking it at the lunch table battling cats. And so he was sort of a hometown legend, hometown hero growing up. And so, I had crossed paths with Gunn over the years and somehow was able to exchange info. We weren't tight or nothing. So when I had the joint, I was like, man, who do I need to get from Durham that I could potentially, that would be able to rock? And so I just shot him a text, sent him a joint, and less than a month later, man, he sent it back. And I was just like, I was blown away. And then,
you know what I find, though? Yeah. The fact that North Carolina artists are now working with each other to dominate.
Yeah.
Now, do you ever feel as though it's got to get to a point where, Luke Nasty, he blew up off his record. Colonel Loud blew up off his record. Do you ever think it's got to get to a point where you got to blow up and you got to be like, well, I'm doing this for me and not for Carolinas?
Nah, man. I mean, because for me, it's honestly even bigger than the Carolinas, man. I mean, I represent. I don't know if people can. I'm Japanese, American, Asian.
I don't know if they can see me now. They can't see me right now.
Right. I rep for a lot of subcultures and a lot of counter narratives. So I represent, I think, for the immigrant narrative and for just the Asian American narrative and the Southern experience as a whole, and poetry as a sort of subgenre right now in the underground culture. And then especially for the Carolinas. So I think, I will never be me if it weren't for all of these other aspects that I sort of naturally embody without even trying. Like, I don't even think I need to try to rep Carolina because you hear it in my voice and you hear, it's just who I am.
You hear it in the music.
And
it's built in your DNA.
So I think it's something I'll never be able to escape even if I tried. And like, for what? Like, I love the Carolinas, man. So it's really an honor that the Carolinas welcomes me back home because I live in LA now. So, and just in general that the Carolinas show love to me and always have since I was a kid, man. So I'm in a place where I'm just fortunate the Carolinas rock with me in general, man. So
definitely. And that's one thing that I learned, that the Carolinas, because if you asked me for a long time, the Carolinas, meaning North and South, never really had a musical identity.
Yeah,
we had P.D. Pablo that was more like a flair, if you ask me. Anthony Hamilton, Fantasia, those are R&B, so I don't really consider that as hip-hop embodiment, meaning adding to the culture.
Well, I feel that pull between Atlanta and New York a lot in our sound, right? Between, Little Brother and now you got Wells and De Niro and I mean all of these different cats.
Man, find out these Carolina artists like that. Say no name. Don't be dropping De Niro's name in there. He was here last week.
Mad love for De Niro, what he's doing, and mad love for what all of these cats, man. And honestly, I'm not that well versed. I don't know deeply, kind of, because there's so many artists that are rocking and are doing amazing things. So I think we always played an interesting role, man, in the industry and in the scope of what the sound is.
So one of the biggest things that I always ask artists, and you could tell a lot by a person on how they respond to this question, is who are your biggest influences in your personal life and in your artistry life, and why?
In the artistry, man, I think the usual suspects. I feel like, Jay, Nas, Big, Pop, Outkast. I love Bus. I love Fugees. I love, I also love Dipset and Lil Jon and the Locks and, and Rough Riders, so I grew up on all of that. And but people-wise, man, just honestly, man, I love learning from every person, man. I really feel like you can learn from great leaders and terrible leaders, and you can learn from good people and bad people. You can learn so much from a child and from an OG and from my grandmother. But I think for me, it starts with my family. It starts with my parents. It starts with my grandma, and then it starts with my immediate homies and the people around. And then I was blessed to have amazing mentors in my life through the arts and culture and poetry and And Buddhism, I practice Buddhism as well.
I
so.
sense a lot of wisdom from you.
Right, man.
You know what I mean? I definitely get that vibe off you where it's a lot of, I've been through a lot, so I see things a little bit differently. If not, I listen. You know what I mean? It seems as though you're listening.
That's what I learned about rap, bro. You actually learn, like, the best rappers really know how to listen. And the best artists. Like, because it's the duality of being able to, like, performing live is about being able to spit something and share something while you simultaneously are listening to what the audience needs or is tuned to or is, you know, sort of. So it's that kind of just that conversation.
Science.
It is.
I feel as though it's a science. Even though you're right, I'm agreeing with you.
Right.
I may label it differently.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
No.
But I feel as though it's a science. You know, it's like that for DJs.
Yep.
It's like that for a host. It's like that even for a radio personality.
And that's life. You know, it's an exchange. And it's
when people learn how to have healthy relationships, things go so much further.
Yeah.
So that leads me into this question. What do you feel as though has been your biggest adversity?
Ooh, I think yourself, man. It's always yourself. In any circumstance, I think your own will and your own will to survive and your own, you know, passion and your own commitment and conviction to overcome whatever comes your way. I mean, people's circumstances are all, you're karmically attuned to your own circumstance and your own life. And whatever comes your way, I think is about, I mean, especially as an artist, you have this extreme narcissism and then you also have this, like, crippling self-doubt. You know,
you're just like, oh man, I hope this is good enough.
I can't stand.
Do you ever find yourself like redoing a lot of your songs? And
always,
like,
bro. I mean, even this record, like I was like, North Cat, maybe I'm a boss. I felt weird calling myself a boss. I was like, the safe to sell of the vault. What does that even mean? You know, I mean, I was like, almost tossed it, almost seriously. And my homie Kane was like, "Bro, you crazy?
What you doing?
This joint is crazy." Yeah. And so, and it's always kind of that conversation, I guess, man. And so. Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, you just follow your gut and you just keep pushing and you gonna hit those failures that they may seem like failures.
I don't want to say that they're failures because every failure you learn how to maneuver through it. I'll say they're more so road bumps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're just getting over those hills.
Right.
We all face them in every aspect, no matter what your profession is.
Right.
You got to hit road bumps. You got to hit road errors, and you manage to either wait for it to develop or you go around it and find a different approach.
Yeah. It's been a crazy journey. So
that's what I find dope, the fact that you're able to understand, you're able to get it, and that this isn't like really a interview. This is more of a conversation and education and bonding moment, because I feel as though clearly your music speaks for itself. 2.5 million views on YouTube. Hell, I had an interview on YouTube that had 1 million views. You sitting over here at 2.5 million. What was that like when you saw that?
I mean, it's definitely crazy, man. Honestly, I felt the negative aspect of all the praise, and the praise really messes with me, man. Because I love the praise.
Did your head get big?
And I mean, my girl, I'm looking at every second there's notifications on your phone. You're looking at your phone, and my girl's like, "Yo, just stop looking at your phone. Like, you know, it's gonna be all right." You know, so
I get that all the time, but I'm addicted to Instagram.
I mean, and it's cool, and it's a moment that I wanted to enjoy, and I did enjoy it, and I'm still enjoying it, but. You know, the work is first, so it's like, all right, I'm gonna put my phone away and I'm gonna work on the next joint. I'm gonna work on.
But you can't lie, you be going back looking, don't you?
You know, I love it, man, and it's still. Did
it go up? Did it go up? How many views did it go up?
2.5. It's, you know what I mean, and also it's crazy seeing the Facebook numbers drive all the other numbers. So my Instagram followers, my Twitter, my. You know, the Spotify listens is at like almost 300,000 streams on Spotify now. And I mean, bro, I just dropped the album just independent, like, yay, it's out. It's out now,
I feel
guys.
like doing it.
Yeah.
And you got that support, though, and the fact that people no longer are looking at your skin. They're not looking at, you know what I mean, your face or anything. They're looking at your music and your artistry. I think that's what's going to always propel you to the next level. Is there anybody in particular you're looking forward to working with?
Oh, man, a bunch. The one that keeps coming to mind is Lil Jon, man. I would love to work with Lil Jon, man.
Oh, he trying to make a party anthem.
That's
what you trying to do.
Well, I want to transcend. I want to like transcend the conscious in the club somehow, you know. And I think that, you know, me growing up listening to Lil Jon was just like.
Your favorite Lil Jon song is?
Probably "Knocking Heads Off" with Jadakiss.
That is an interesting song right there. I wasn't expecting that song.
I mean, I was like 12, bro, listening on my Walkman, just like loud as you could
remember
go.
Walkman and CD players?
Bro, like, I mean, that's your life. I mean, I love that because you had an album and you had that. That's all you could listen to was that one.
And you had to carry all the other CDs in one case. I used to do that.
Yeah, man. I had a 45-minute bus ride to him from school.
And remember, you had to get the real jean pockets so that you could fit the whole CD player in that one jean pocket. If not, you had to put it in the back and make sure you don't hit the repeat button on it. So, yeah,
man,
I could tell you about some things. Yeah. Now, while Lead, on the other hand, could probably tell us about the tape recorders and how they had to rewind the tape with their hand.
Right.
With their hand, they probably had to
Beethoven. We was there.
Go ahead and tell the people, man, what's your Instagram name? How could they find you, follow you?
Man, everything Gyamazawa, Gyamazawa.
Now, hold the hell on. Hold on.
It's like Alabama, man. It's like, that's what, you know what I'm saying?
I'm going to need you. Hold on. Everybody get your phone out right now. Are you going to follow at least the first 10 people?
Yeah.
Because if you follow the first 10 people, they at least got to get some time to get their phones out. This y'all time. Get your phone out.
Hey.
Go to Instagram. All right, I think they're there. They're probably unlocking it. Old people getting their glasses.
Right.
All right. They're on the Explore page. All right. They hit the title button. And they're like, go ahead, go. Slowly.
Gyamazawa. Gyamazawa.
Gyamazawa in the building, ladies and gentlemen. And guess what? If you don't know how to find him, follow him. Visit 927theblock.com or at 927theblock on Instagram. And you know we got to make that happen. Oh, yeah. G!
You know the 92.7 The Block Studios are lit.